It seems so simple. You grab a couple of apples, maybe a bag of avocados, head to the self-checkout lane, punch in the code, weigh your produce, and you're out in minutes. Fast, easy, no human interaction. But what if that self-checkout convenience is quietly costing you more money than you think? Or worse, what if it's setting you up to get flagged, fined, or embarrassed in front of a crowd for something you didn't even know was wrong? Self-checkout is a technological blessing on the surface. No more waiting behind someone fumbling for coupons. No awkward small talk with the cashier. Just scan, bag, pay, and leave. But when it comes to produce, the system becomes far less reliable. Suddenly, you're expected to know PLU codes, distinguish between similar-looking items, and trust that the scale is accurate. And here's the problem. It often isn't. Start with the basics. Let's say you're buying apples. There are dozens of varieties: Fuji, Gala, Honeycrisp, Granny Smith. Each one has a different price, and they can vary by more than $1 per pound. But on the screen, you may only see a generic red apple or green apple option. Choose the wrong one, and you're either overpaying or unknowingly committing what some stores consider item mislabeling, even if it was a mistake. Some stores have begun flagging frequent mismatches between scanned items and camera footage of what was bagged, using AI to detect fraud. But here's the twist. Even honest shoppers can be accused of dishonesty just for picking the wrong apple type. And it gets worse with produce sold by quantity, not weight. Items like lemons, limes, or avocados may be priced per piece. If you accidentally select weigh item and put 3 on the scale, you could be overcharged. Or if you pick the per piece option and mistakenly place too many in the bag, you may be flagged for theft. It's a confusing system made more difficult by poor user interfaces and inconsistent policies across different stores. But that's just one part of the trap. Ever notice how the scale sometimes jumps around? You weigh your bananas, and the price changes slightly every time you reposition them. That's not just a glitch. It can be due to poor calibration, sticky residue, or improperly maintained equipment. And in a business where margins matter, those tiny inaccuracies add up fast. You could be paying more for the same fruit than the person who went to a regular checkout line, just because the machine was off by a fraction of a pound. Another hidden issue: produce codes themselves. Most people don't memorize PLU codes. Some people scan the sticker, but self-checkout systems usually don't have functioning barcode readers for produce. Instead, they expect you to type it in or scroll through a list. If the list is organized poorly or missing the item altogether, customers resort to guessing or picking something close. And that's where mistakes happen. Say you buy organic strawberries but accidentally ring up conventional ones. You just underpaid by $2, and if the store's system catches that, even if it was an honest error, you could be treated like a shoplifter. Many stores now use loss prevention software combined with CCTV and motion tracking at self-checkout. These systems compare what you scan with what you bag. And when there's a discrepancy, say you key in yellow onion, but the camera thinks it sees a Vidalia, the system may quietly log your transaction for review. Do it too many times and you could be approached by a manager or worse, banned from the store. Innocent mistakes get flagged the same as deliberate fraud because the system doesn't understand intent, only data. Let's talk psychology. Self-checkout subtly shifts the burden of labor onto the customer. You become the cashier, bagger, and quality control inspector, but you're not trained and the system doesn't help much. Under pressure, people make errors. They rush, especially if there's a line behind them. They feel awkward searching through menus while other customers wait. And stores know this. Some even design the software to default to more expensive versions of items or to promote upgrades like buying in bulk or rounding up for donations, hoping you'll click without realizing. It's subtle manipulation disguised as convenience. Then there's shrinkflation. Produce packaged in ways that make it harder to assess what you're actually getting. Pre-weighed bags of oranges or pre-sliced melon containers are often priced high and lack transparency. But when you do try to save by picking loose produce and using self-checkout, you risk pricing confusion, mislabeling, or even being watched suspiciously. And ironically, trying to do the right thing, buying affordable fresh food without overpaying, can feel like navigating a minefield. Some shoppers try to beat the system, intentionally selecting cheaper items, scanning organic bell peppers as regular ones, keying in cheap yellow potatoes instead of Yukon Golds. It might seem like a harmless hack, but stores are cracking down. Target, Walmart, Kroger, and others are testing AI monitoring systems that don't just track your purchases, they analyze body movements, hand motions, and bagging behavior. One small mistake might be forgiven, but repeat patterns? You could be flagged, banned, or prosecuted. And yes, people have been arrested for honest produce errors. There are cases where customers were charged with theft after mislabeling fruit, sometimes by accident, other times because the system made it difficult to select the correct item. The law doesn't always make a distinction. If the store's records show that you consistently underpay for produce, even by a few cents, you may be accused of theft. And even if you prove it was a mistake, the damage is done. Another cost that's often overlooked is time. What you save in skipping the cashier, you may lose trying to hunt down an employee when the machine freezes, when a produce code is missing, or when you're randomly selected for a bag check. And let's be honest, nothing kills your shopping buzz faster than a red light flashing over your head as the machine beeps for unexpected item in the bagging area, especially when all you're holding is a bunch of grapes. Even worse, self-checkout lanes are frequently under-maintained. Keypads are sticky, screens are smudged, scales are off. Some stores don't restock produce labels, forcing customers to enter items manually. The frustration builds, and all of it falls on you. Meanwhile, the store cuts labor costs, removes human cashiers, and reaps the benefits of your unpaid work. So what can you do? First, slow down. Take your time and double-check every item, especially with produce. Look at the sticker for the PLU code. Make sure you select the correct variant, conventional versus organic, per pound versus per piece. Avoid items that don't have a code unless you know it by heart or it's clearly labeled in-store. Don't assume the machine will be accurate. Watch the scale, and if the weight jumps significantly for a small item, cancel and try again. If the system seems unclear or confusing, don't guess. Ask for help. It might feel awkward, but it's better than being accused of stealing for accidentally selecting the wrong lettuce. And when in doubt, skip self-checkout altogether for complicated produce. Let a trained cashier handle it. They'll likely move faster and get it right the first time. Ultimately, self-checkout isn't evil, but when it comes to fresh produce, it's more complex and riskier than people realize. That moment of convenience can carry hidden costs in money, time, and even reputation. Grocery stores have pushed this technology hard, but they've done little to educate or support the people using it. And as automation grows, the burden continues to fall on you. So the next time you're holding a bunch of bananas and debating whether to head for the self-checkout, think twice. Because what looks like a 5-minute time saver could end up being a $20 mistake or a conversation with store security you didn't expect.